Yo, what's up? This is Muzi, and this is the breakdown of my new album, Zeno.
So where did the name Zeno come from?
Name Zeno it's my daughter's name. Um, Full name is Zeno. So yeah, that's where the album name came from. Really, it's just like uh, making an album for her, in a way, and yeah.
What was the process of creating the album?
The process was I was creating an album before, and then guys came into my house, burglary things, and it was bad. They took all my equipment, but then we had to do a tour like a week after that. So John came down from Scotland. John is my manager. Like he came down from Scotland, and first few days it was like really bad. Like I didn't think I was gonna be able to make any music, and then started making some, and John was like, "Yeah, you still got it." You still got it. So I was like, so that was cool, and then we traveled. So some of the album was made in like Johannesburg, and then we traveled to Switzerland. I made a song called Sunshine in Switzerland. I made A Day in Paris in Paris. I made Angega with BCUC in New York. Like, so it was more or less all over the world, like wherever I was traveling, because I travel with my equipment, because the new setup is more like compact, it all fits in my bag. So yeah, and then I was just creating music as I was going around and traveling, like when I had like off days, and that's how we pretty much, that was the process of it. It was very much in the moment, not much like planning, just like let me make some music, and then if it's good enough, then it makes it to the album. The only difference with this one compared to Afrovision was Afrovision I made like so much music, and then we went down to like 13 songs. But with this one, it was more just like my soul was very like focused and directed. So it was almost like every song I was making was like really good. And then that process, because it took us, I think, like 2 to 3 weeks to actually do the whole thing. Um, so that was like a different process for me, because I usually make quite a lot of music and then cut it all away to one album. But this was very like streamlined.
What were some of the influences you had musically while creating the album?
It was quite a lot. Like there's a song called King Shah's Symphony that's very like um, Congolese, like meets Ghanaian sort of like drum beats. There's a song called Sunshine has traditional Tswana music drum beats. There's Fela Kuti inspired stuff. I'm using quite a bit of like trumpets on this one. There's obviously my favorite being 80s South African music and 80s disco. Um, so there's those vibes as well. But still, in a way, like all the music was made when it was like sunny and like very beautiful. And like I remember Switzerland. We were like in the hills, like it was almost like Lord of the Rings vibes. But there's a line where I say like Zulu Sky walked through these hills, because I was seeing hills when I was like writing the song. So it's still very much like Afrovision with regards to how the weather and where I'm at plays a very important part in how the music sounds. So I like being in places that are very summery and like warm. And
What's your songwriting process like?
songwriting process, because I also produce the music, it all comes at the same time. So it's like as I make the beat, I start hearing the lyrics, and as I hear the lyrics, I hear where the beat can go. Then it's like a back and forth, like sort of conversation in my head. And then yeah, so it's not so much that like, okay, this is the first step, second step. It's just like all the steps are like intermingling and all of them are together. What I do like to do though is like, cause I think I'm funny, right? Like I think I'm funny, so I like having like some like sort of like comedic like double entendres in the thing. Like for instance, with the Puma, go on with your bad self thing. One could take it as I'm saying if you're a bad, like you should live your best life, and then the other side of it is that you're a bad person and you should leave me. You know what I mean? So it's like I like doing things like that where I like twisting lyrics. I don't like hearing straightforward things because I don't like writing things that I've heard before. You know, so that's one thing that I do like consciously. Like if I have a line, I'll be like, how do I flip this to make it more interesting to me?
Okay, and then how important is it to you to draw influence from Africa?
I think that's my whole career, right? It's very much it's who I am, right? I'm not trying to make African music, or I am African, you know what I mean? It comes through me, you know, like so because of that, it's where I feel most comfortable and relaxed with regards to creating. It's where I feel if I dig more like because there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of African music that I still haven't heard that I could still dig into. So because of that, it's the most natural process for me. It's the most flowing process for me, and I think that's very important when you're creating. Like I don't like having walls or meeting walls when I'm creating. So I like to just flow, and then yeah, then the music just comes very easily that way.
And then how did you select the features?
Um, it was the songs that survived. It was the songs that survived, I think, and but also like like my career has been very much more of a natural growth process, more of a natural like organic growth process rather than chasing the best feature or chasing like clouds or anything like that. So it's been very much like all my features like I know these people personally. I hang out with these people on a non-music basis, you know, and some of them are my real close friends. Like Black Rose is a very close friend. Espacio Dios is a very close friend. Una Rams, Lama Mavuso from the previous album, like they're all very close friends. And then Something Soweto is a new friend that I made, and for him it was just like the song was actually an instrumental, and then I played it for him, and he liked it so much that like we started. He wrote like lyrics to it. So it's just that it's very much an organic thing. Like with art, I do not chase. You know, it's more of an attraction versus promotion sort of thing, as my partner John would say. Like it's very much you attract things into your life. You don't go, you don't always have to like be forceful, because I feel like people will hear. Like I have a fear of lying to myself, and because I feel like if I do that, people will be able to see it.
And then final question, what would you hope that people take away from the album?
I would hope just like that things happen in life, right? And it's like it doesn't mean that you don't get like depressed or you don't get like anxious or that you don't go through bad things, but like you have to like fight through it. I feel like my generation or our generation is very bad at managing emotions, very bad at managing life in general, because we think that like things should always go good, because and then that's not how life works. That's not how life is for anyone, right? So when we start going through bad things, we sort of we don't know how to deal with it. It's our coping mechanisms are not good at all. So I hope that like when people hear the album, maybe they can get better at that, because I feel like if like after having a gun to my face and someone threatening to take my life, like I could have just went into this dark hole, right? And I was almost there, but because I have like good people around me, and because I feel like I'm here for a purpose, I had to like work really hard to pull myself out of that. And I wasn't alone. It wasn't like me. There were hands reaching out to pull me out of that as well. So I think it's an album about like resilience, and continuing to push on even when like things are really hard and even when you don't see the light yourself. But for the mere fact that you're here and you're alive, that must mean something. right? So hopefully, we can all like get like better coping mechanisms, because I think that's the thing that really hurts us as just like a generation, is that when you're going through bad stuff, your friends aren't there, but then you have to ask yourself, maybe you chose the wrong friends to begin with, maybe you chose the wrong people to be around you, you know. So you can either give in or you can move forward. There's no in between. There's no moving forward whilst giving up, you know. So you need to choose that, and then like just go with it, even when you don't know what the result is. So I feel like Zeno is that album for me, and then hopefully one day it'll mean the same thing to my daughter when she's going through something.
Okay, I just want to ask you some like rapid fire questions, Nim,
Also,
and then you just choose one or the other.
okay, that sounds cool. Showcase.
All right, so sweet or savory?
Oh, sweet.
Top or bottom?
Ah, top. Middle.
Performing or creating?
Creating.
Afrovision or Zeno?
Zeno, by far.
Gauteng or KZN?
KZN.
Alright, yeah, we good.
Awesome.